Hi, I know what you're going to say next. Oh my god, she has a setup now, and she's finally making the JOJOS Part 2. And now you're gonna repeat what I said. And for those of you uncultured swines who doesn't understand what I'm saying, this is a JOJO reference. Everything and anything and everything in this world is a fucking JOJO reference. And we're just living in a world of JOJOs. And I'm loving it. I'm living for it. It's great. So yeah, finally, part 2 video. Let's do a recap of the things that happened to our main character in part 1. As you know, Jonathan dies, and Dio is ahead. He wants to have Jonathan's body. He wants to attach his head to his body because Jonathan was built like a tank, and Dio has a weird obsession with him. And he's evil. Irina takes a baby, and then Irina gives birth to her baby. That's the end of part 1. Irina gives birth to her baby, which is George Joestar, but he's not important. He can't even use Hamon. And then the baby is a girl. The other baby that they saved from, the Irina saved from the ship, is a girl. Her name is Elizabeth. She raises both Elizabeth and George, and then Elizabeth and George falls in love, and then they gave birth to. Hi. My phone could not take the weird stuff and bizarre and absurd stuff that happens to that family of Greek statues and statuettes. So yeah, we're fine. And then Joseph is born. Joseph Joestar. Here he is. He's Conti. He's doing a fashion statement. In terms of fashion, he's a lot more, he's better than Jonathan, because all Jonathan did was to wear that Sherlock Holmes ass outfit, and that was all. But but Joseph is putting in the work. Look at this crop top and the shawl and the headband. Oh my god, this headband. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry at the headband. Okay, so I'm gonna come to it. And this video is probably gonna be 20 plus something minutes. But it's gonna work. It's gonna be all worth it for me at least. So yeah. And George dies because he finds a vampire in the British military, and then he tries to take on the vampire all by himself without having literally no power ever. And then George's wife, Elizabeth, she was trained by Strazio, which is do you remember Zeppeli? I always thought his name was Zeppelini, but his name is Zeppeli. Anyway, he was a friend of Zeppeli. We saw him in the part 1, but I didn't really mention him because he was just there. But this bastard becomes a vampire too. He wants to be like Dio. He says he gets old and stuff, and he's like, I don't want to get old. I want to stay young and beautiful all the time. Like the Lana Del Rey song. Will you still love me when I'm not longer young and beautiful? And he thinks that no one's gonna like him when he's not young and beautiful anymore. He wasn't even that beautiful to begin with, but he's just 7 grand years old. He thinks he's the main character. He thinks he's Dio. Bro is not Dio. Yeah. And Strazio, what was I gonna talk about? Raises Elizabeth. And Elizabeth can use Hamon. George can, but Elizabeth can. And then Elizabeth is like, that vampire killed my husband. And she gets angry, and she wants to do that military, I wish it was a general, that officer's office, general's office. And then she kills him. But they think that she's just a crazy woman who killed a high-ranked general and then burnt the general to a crisp. Just wait. So Elizabeth becomes an international terrorist. Everyone's looking for her, and she has to flee the country. She hugs her son one last time, Joseph, and then she's gone. But Irina does not tell him that because she doesn't want her grandson to caught up in this, because he's like, I lost my husband and I lost my son to this Hamon and demon and vampire stuff, and I don't want my grandson to live the same fate. So she just says that your mom and dad just died in a car crash or something like that. And Joseph's like, okay. And Joseph doesn't give a shit about literally anything. I love him so very much. And then Strazio one day came, and he tries to attack him, And Joseph, where is Joseph? Are we gonna see the yes, there he is. Oh my god, look how cool he is. And Joseph is like, yeah, why isn't it okay? What if I do this? Ah, that's better. Yep, he brings out a gun, like is that an AK-47? I don't know. I don't know guns. Anyways, he brings it out and he tries to kill him, but of course it's not working because he's a vampire. Strategy is a vampire and also almost kills Speedwagon. And then Strategy kidnaps that woman. He's like, I'm gonna kill this woman if you don't kill yourself or something. I don't know. He threatens Joseph with killing that woman, and Joseph's like, why the fuck would I give my life away for a woman that I don't even know? Like, she didn't even exist 1 second before. Like, 2 seconds ago, she didn't even exist. And she's not even hot. She's, like, really ugly. I'm not gonna die for her sake and stuff. And I'm just loving Joseph at this point. This guy doesn't give a shit about anything. He is so disrespectful, especially compared to Jonathan. And he runs away, but he's really smart. Like, when he understands he cannot be Stratio, which is, who's a demon, he just runs away, he's like, there's only one thing that we can do at this point, Smokey. We're gonna run. And he runs, and I'm like, I just love him so very much. He's oh my god, I love Joseph so very much. He's my favorite Jonathan, he's my favorite Joestar. Okay, this looks nice. Look at the crop. He's so cunty. Love him. So pretty. Anyways, and then he learns that he has to do some stuff. Then Strassi almost kills Speedwagon, and he's like, I'm gonna take revenge for him and stuff. And it's been like 2 weeks since I watched it, so I'm kind of forgetting it. Anyways, he went to Rome, but I don't exactly remember why he went to Rome. Anyway, when he is in Rome, he meets Caesar. Where he is? There he is. He meets Caesar Zeppeli. He is the other. I don't know. I don't remember Zeppeli's real name, like the first name. So just gonna. He's this grandson of the first Zeppelin in JoJo's Part 1, and he's like, I'm not going to. And he needs his help. JoJo needs his help. Someone tells him to, but I forgot this part. Someone tells him like they need to team up. They're gonna be best friends. And Caesar is like, my grandfather died because of your grandfather. I'm not gonna help you. And he's Italian. He cares about family a lot, but he didn't at that one point. And then his father died trying to save him, but he also like left him a bunch of stuff. But he has daddy issues. But we love him. He's amazing. And in terms of fashion, he is, a lot better than Joseph. I mean, Joseph just wears this crop top, but look at them with his like hairband and like these little feathers, like as if he's Hermes. And then oh my god, the thing that you wear on your hands. I can't believe that. Like, I can't believe I forgot the word. Oh my god, gloves. And look at this gloves and the weirdest pants and everything about him is just so pretty. He's like so beautiful. And the first time I saw him, I was like, is that Dio? I was like, is this that Dio? The first time you see him, and he's like making out with this girl like very passionately, and Joseph like gets the ick because he's like he's alone and he's jealous, and he's jealous that Caesar is so hot, and Caesar uses Hamon, but he has this special move, bubble splatter, something like that. He makes bubbles. So pretty, looks so pretty. Just pretty as like a. And then they are friends now. Anyways, like a bunch of stuff happens. They're friends. Then they realize, oh, they're men in pillars. Speedwagon finds a guy stuck in a pillar, and then let me just If I have this thing in here, it would help me more to tell the story. Then where is Speedwagon? Here he is. Here is Speedwagon. And there it is. This is how Speedwagon looks in part 2. He's old, but he's like super fucking rich. He doesn't have a family except the Joestars. And Joseph is like, hey, Granny Arena, don't you think that you guys would like a make a cute couple. You know, he's alone, you're alone, you are both singles and stuff. Blah blah blah. Anyways, and then what happens? They find a man in the pillars. Here he is, Santana, and then Nazi, and then German soldiers comes, and this is Stroheim, the German name, Stroheim. Where he is? Where is he? There he is. This is Stroheim. He is a German general, and they make experiments on the men that they found in the pillars, because they want to use their powers to win the World War. Was it World War One or World War Two? When does this story take place? Well, the first story was in the first part was in 1880s, and since Josh is the grandson, I don't think it's the First World War. It's probably the second, because there were also like planes and stuff. Yeah, it's the World War Two, I guess. And you know they want to win the war thanks to their vampiric powers. They're not entirely vampires, but also these guys are like thousands of years old, and they're the one who made the mess and everything. I kind of like still blurry. That part is still blurry. They can't walk on sun. They're like vampires, but they are born this way. And then one of them, there he is, Cars. He makes the mask, the first mask that we see, and like a bunch of other masks. Anyway, Santana drinks blood from everyone in the German military base, almost kills Stroheim. Joseph comes there to find the Speedwagon. Oh yeah, he was after Speedwagon. That is true. I think he almost got Speedwagon. And how did he use his Hamon? Good, like he has Hamon powers, but he doesn't know how to use it. So many things happens in part 2, like, and part 3 is like a lot more, so I can't really, explain everything. Anyways, then Santana comes here, they name him Santana. I guess it was Stroheim who named him Santana. And then they barely managed to kill him, both Stroheim and Joseph. We think that he's almost dead, but he's not. Joseph gets Speedwagon, they go and meet Zeppeli, and after meeting Zeppeli, what do? They meet, I guess, ACDC and Vamu, which are the like 3 pillar men who are a lot stronger than Santana. And they're the main villains, especially Cars is the main villain. And at one point you think that he's a nice guy because he kind of cares about animals and flowers and stuff, but he's a bastard. I hate him. And then there's ACDC, which is like, he's a crybaby, a man child. He's the one who looks like he's the oldest, but he cries a lot. But we love seeing a man cry. He's like at one point things just, doesn't really go well with, doesn't really go in his way. And he just like cries like a baby. And then he's like, whew, okay, I'm calm now. I could, close my computer and everything in a moment. But I'm really fine now. We can keep fighting and stuff. And then, I guess it is Speedwagon or maybe someone else sent Caesar and Joseph to find Lisa. She is a Hamon master, and it might not be Speedwagon, but it might be. I'm not really sure. Tells them to go and find Lisa, and then they go to Venice to find her. She is also Zeppeli's teacher. And then they go there. She puts them through an exam, climbing a tower that is like covered in oil, so they need to use their Hamons. And Hamon is really I like it's the power system in JOJOS, but I don't even know how exactly it works. It's like life energy, but you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. Like whatever the story needs, Hamon does that. You can do overdrives, which is like sending power rays to something like the thing that Goku, I guess, does. I don't know. I never watched Dragon Ball. But like the classic anime power that you send a ray of energy. It's like something like chakra or maybe the cursed energy. But it's a form of energy. And Hamon just does whatever you want. Like Caesar does, he makes bubbles. And Joseph has this toy that he fills with Hamon, and then he beats people with it. Lisa has a scarf with Hamon. Stroheim doesn't have spark, but he has the great German technology with him. And yeah, these three are the only people who uses Hamon. Oh yeah, and there is Messina and Loggins, and these two are Lysa's henchmen. And Lysa also has Suzuki, who is her maid. And then, what happens? Oh yeah, they meet somehow. I don't remember. In Venice, if I'm not wrong. They meet Vamu and Acidity, and then Vamu puts a ring in Jojo's heart. And Acidity says, you're a good warrior. You have to beat me. That the only reason that happens because Joseph's a trickster. I love Trickster so very much. And speaking of Trickster, I think they should have made Caesar a speedster. Even though I don't like speedster in media like at all, because they're so overpowered and no one can really, do speedster justice, in my tiny humble little opinion. But the thing that he has this feathers, I think he would make an amazing Hermes character. Anyways, oh my god, I don't have any charge. I need to charge my phone. How am I gonna do that? Okay, I'm just gonna stop the video for a while and then I'm gonna continue. Okay, I'm back. I hope that I'm recording it with the other headphone that I have, because my headphone is Type-C and I need to charge my phone. Anyways, who gives a shit about that? So yeah, actually I wish I made the whole video like this. You can see them a lot better now. Anyways, let's get this guy and let's continue. What was the last thing that I said? Yeah, when they're getting their trainings, it's about a month. Oh yeah, it was before they train with Lisa. Vamu here, Vamu over here puts a ring on Joseph's heart, and SDC puts one in his throat, and those rings will break in a month and there will be poison coming out of it. And to get for the antidote, they need to kill them and get the piercings from I guess it was Vamu who had a lip piercing and SDC has a nose piercing, and this is where the antidote. So Jojo basically needs to beat them so that he could get the antidote. And then he trains with Lisa, he and Caesar, and at this time they get they're best friends. They love each other so very much, even though the what did Caesar, I just like Caesar so much. I don't really remember what he did to Jojo, but he just irritates Jojo so very much. And Jojo put a pigeon using Hamon. He put a pigeon in the mouth of the girl that Caesar was about to kiss. It's just a bit like I said, you can do whatever you want with Hamon. The only imagination, the only limit is your imagination at this point. And let's continue. And then bunch of stuff happens. They go to Switzerland, or maybe it was Sweden. I don't remember. And Stroheim comes back. What else happens? God, I should have made the video the moment I finish the show, and I'm gonna do it with part 3 the moment I finish the first 22 episodes, or maybe it was 24 because it's 2-part. There are 40 something episodes, and there is no way that I'm gonna remember everything that happens in the those almost 50 episodes. So yeah, okay. So yeah, so then what happens? They go to a hotel. Oh, no. I did something. My God. I'm not really great with technology. I was also talking to this guy and I was like, what browser are you using? And I was like, Google. And he was like, that's a search engine. What browser are you using? I was like, I don't know. So yeah. Okay. All I do with this thing is to watch stuff. That's all I do. And currently I'm making videos and uploading them. Okay. Calm. What else was I gonna say? Oh my God. Okay, you know what? Who gives a shit about the story? We don't watch the JOJOs for stories. We watch it for the vibes. I watch it for the vibes. And then what happens? They met Lisa. Lisa's a great teacher, and she's like, okay, I trained you well, but yeah, like you have to, pass a final exam. The final exam is they need to, well, Caesar and Joseph needs to fight Messina and Loggins. And like I said, he's like henchman for Lisa, and Vamu, or maybe it was SCDC. I guess it was SCDC. Yes, it was SCDC kills one of them during JoJo's exam, and then JoJo kills SCDC, takes the antidote, and then these three plus Speedwagon, I guess. Where is Speedwagon? No, there's Speedwagon. So this four goes to Switzerland because there is a necklace, and this guy managed to steal the necklace because one of them took over Suzy Q's body. She's so sweet, but I don't think she has, like, she's like 2 brain cells, but she's so sweet. She's like Naruto. She doesn't need to be smart. She just has so much love. And we see like little sparks between her and Joseph, but I think the only reason that Joseph is like because unlike his grandson who gets like all the attention from the ladies, Suzy Q is the only girl who showed the slightest bit of interest to Joseph. And there's just this tiny little flirting between them. Anyway, let's forget about that. They possess her. She sends the necklace, which has a red stone, which is these guys need the stone to become immortal or something, like to become the like ultimate being. And these guys, they need the stone to kill these guys, I guess. And then what? They go to Switzerland. Caesar dies because he gets into this tiny little fight about his family's honor and stuff with JoJo. He walks into somewhere that he shouldn't be walking alone, and then I guess it was Vamu who killed him. And then with his dying breath, he makes this tiny little with his last breath, he uses the last piece of hamon that he has, and puts the antidote. I guess he's the one who killed SCDC. Yeah, he's the one who killed it. No. Oh, no. So he fights with... Wait a minute. Okay. So he fights with... Why is it like... Oh my god. Can you just stay here? Okay. So he fights with Vamu. And at one point, he almost manages to kill him with like really smart tactics and everything. And then he makes this one tiny little mistake, and then Vamu kills him. But he manages to take the antidote, and then he puts it in a bubble made out of... Oh my god, he puts it in a bubble, and he has bubble. Oh, so romantic. With his dying breath, he saves the antidote for JoJo, and then JoJo cries, and then Lisa cries when they see his body, because they don't even see his body. He's crushed. Like he died, but after he died, there is this big piece of stone that falls on top of him, and he dies, and we see his blood. He's squashed. It just makes me so sad because I love Caesar so very much. And then after that, we see JoJo cries, Lisa cries. They go to... Where are they going? It was somewhere in Venice, probably, or maybe not. Where they're still in the like Italy, kind of like they're in Europe. They're somewhere in Europe. I don't remember where was it. They are somewhere in Europe, and then there's this tiny little fight. They're like, we're gonna have 1 versus 1s and 1v1s. Joseph is gonna fight Vamu. Where's Vamu? Here is Vamu, and Lisa is gonna fight Cars. And they're like, okay, let's do that. And then Joseph and Vamu fights. It's a very great fight. We saw the kindness in Joseph. We see that he is Jonathan's grandfather. He's like, you're a good warrior. I respect you. And Vamu is like really obsessed with honor and being a good warrior and warrior spirit and everything. That's why he lets Caesar to take the antidote, because he could easily take it back after he died, but he respects him because Caesar's great. We love Caesar so very much. And JoJo's like, I'm not gonna take the antidote because it's just I'm not gonna take it until I kill Vamu. And then you see this little headband. This belongs to this belongs to Caesar. And then after he died, JoJo takes it and then he uses it and then he kills Vamu with that as a form of revenge, and I love it. Though I wish he would use, something else to kill him so that he would still have the headband and we would see him using it in for rest of his life in part 3 and stuff. But okay, that's what the Araki, that's what the mangaka chose, and who are we to say anything against them? I really don't like it when people say that this is like shit and blah 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 blah. You can write for shit, you can draw for shit for to mangakas and everything, because if you're so good, then why don't you do it? Oh my god, calm down. Fuck, it's their story. They can do whatever fuck we want with it. Anyways, what else am I gonna say? Oh, and then Joseph kills Vamu, and then it's time for Lisa and Cars to fight, and then finally we're gonna see our master or teacher, the great Lisa in fight, and then Cars uses a body double kind of thing. And then he cheats, and then he almost kills Lisa, and we're like, Lisa only did one move and killed Cars, one move, but he killed the body double, and then Cars comes out and he kills almost kills Lisa. She's on the verge of death and everything, and then we learn that Lisa is a code name, is actually, she's actually Elizabeth, the one. Where is Irina? The one Irina saved from the fire. The one George fell in love and married. And she is also JoJo's mother. But he never learns it. And Smokey's she's like, wait, Lisa is your mom. And then something happens. Lisa is your mother. Something happens. Something happens. And then JoJo never learns it. And Lisa almost dies. But JoJo is the last attempt. He saves her, and then Cars gets the necklace. He becomes the ultimate being. He can grow wings, and he can act like a rhino, I guess, or something with real strong skin and stuff. And he becomes the ultimate being. And he and JoJo fights. JoJo runs away one last time, and he uses his, I know what you're going to say, thing 50 times throughout the series, and every time he says it, I'm like, oh my god, he's saying it again, because I love it, because this guy, so smart. He's the dumbest person I've ever met, but he's also so smart. He's always the smartest person in the room. I'm in love with him. And then they have another fight on top of a volcano, and which it's a volcano that I know. I studied for it in geography class, but I don't remember the name right now, unfortunately. It's an almost active volcano. And then he throws Cars into the volcano, but that fucker uses the ability of some other, any other animal. He can turn into animals and stuff, and he can take their parts and stuff, and he somehow manages to get fine with it. And then JoJo uses the power that comes from the volcano and stuff, and he sends Cars into the space, and Cars becomes this meteor kind of thing. He turns into a stone, and then he just wanders off in space for all eternity, unless they're gonna bring him back for some other part. I don't know, but he's gone. And that is JoJo's part 2, and it is so great, and I really didn't manage to until tell it, or how I'm in love with it and everything. I don't think this is a very good video, but at least I have a setup. Doesn't it look great? You see all the characters? It's great. So I love Joseph so very much. He is amazing. And he's just so beautiful. I just love Joseph so very much. Oh, and then they think that Joseph is dead. They make a funeral. They have a funeral, but Joseph is not dead. He falls down to the ocean, and Stroheim helps him. Stroheim has a big role actually in this, but I kind of forget about telling about him. And now he's also in Switzerland, by the way, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Anyways, then he goes back to Germany. He dies in war, I guess, but he takes down a bunch of other soldiers with him. He becomes a great general. Great as in the sense of one with many accomplishments. And then JoJo Suzy finds JoJo, takes care of him, and they marry. They got married, and then they go back to Britain, I guess. JoJo is more of an American. I guess he's American. They go to America, I guess. Speedwagon is there. Rhaenyra is there. Smokey is there. Who else was there? Caesar's not there because Caesar's dead. And Lisa is there, and they're all mourning for JoJo. And then we see this coolest car coming, and then he's like, "Hey, how are you guys doing?" and stuff. And everyone's like, "What?" And he's like, "Why are you guys in a funeral? Like, what are you doing in here?" And then he sees his name on a tombstone, and he's like, he turns to Suzuki and he's like, "Didn't you tell them that I was alive? I thought you supposed to like send them a telegraph or something like this." He's like, "Oh, I forgot." She's like, I just love you so very much, and I'm so happy that we got married. And I was like, everything was so beautiful in our lives that I completely forgot about telling your family that you were alive. And she smiles and she laughs, and they're just so cute. I love those two so very much. They got married, and JoJo's part 2 ends in a very, very happy note with Lisa. Well, the only thing is that Zeppeli dies. I guess the Zeppeli is gonna die in like each part of JoJo's. Unfortunately, I wish that wasn't the case, but that's what's gonna happen, I guess, because I think there are gonna be more Zeppelis in the future. I don't know though. I still don't have any kind of spoilers or anything. All I know is that they're gonna be like a universal reset in part 6, but you know, I don't know. Let's not think about that. Then what happens? Yeah, okay, that's it. So the highlights. The pigeon scene, because it was so weird. Literally any scene between Caesar and Joseph was beautiful. I love their friendship so much. And the moment you see them, the moment they have their first fight, you know that like couple episodes later, these two would fucking die for each other because they love each other so very much. And Caesar is also like you know, some like things of Lisa as a mother figure and everything, and it's just so great. And then he dies. I wish he didn't. He or she hadn't died because I loved him so very much. Wait, okay, loved him so very much. But what happens has happened, and yeah, that is all. What I to do it. Okay, so let's just give like a final thought and everything. I loved JoJo's Part 2 so very much, a lot more than Part 1, and it was more entertaining. There are more characters. Like in terms of side characters, this was better, because like in like part 1, it was all about Jonathan and Dio. Well, there weren't many side characters, but the ones were like the ones that were there. God, I talk too much. Should I, like all the fly in. What I was gonna say, yeah, and in terms of side character, this part is a lot better. The only problem that I have is that unfortunately there aren't many actually, it's fine. There aren't many, like we see Lisa as a strong female character. We see Granny Arena, but she's not there much. And Suzy Q is just she's very lovable. She's very kind. That's what really matters, I guess, in terms of Suzy Q. And Lisa, we finally think that, oh my god, we're gonna see an amazing scene with her shawl as her only weapon, and unfortunately we don't get to see it, but it's still fine. I mean, this thing was written in like 90s and stuff, so it's kind of fine. And it's so beautiful that I don't think that like nothing about JoJo is gonna make me mad. I think I just love it so very much. It's so beautiful, and I'm in love with part 2. I love it a lot more than part 1, and Joseph is my favorite JoJo currently. And he is also in part 3, and I'm watching part 3. I'm gonna make 2 videos on part 3 because I don't want to forget anything, and I don't want the video to be like 1 hour long and everything. And yeah, that's it. This is JoJo's part 2. I love it, and like I kind of wanted to show you everyone. Here is Lisa. Look at her. Look at how gorgeous she is. This is her only weapon, a special shawl that can absorb Hamon, I guess. And then there is Speedwagon, and there is Stroheim, and here is Suzy Q. Isn't she so pretty? Anyways, oh, she's old. I think she's gonna be in more parts. I just got a spoiler. This tiny little spoiler, but it's fine. Character list. Yep, here it is. These are the JoJo's Part 2 characters, and this was my JoJo's Part 2 video. And I love JoJo's so very much. I'm so excited for the time that I'm gonna like have more subscribers, and I'm gonna make a whole like summary of all parts of JoJo. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be more professional, I think. And I don't know how am I gonna upload this video because it's just so freaking long. But yeah, that is all. I also have 18 subscribers now. Like, oh my god, like 5 videos ago I had 15 subscribers because I made a video for my 15 subscribers, and now I have 18. Oh my god, like that's so great. Thank you guys so much. Oh my god, I wasn't planning on saying this, but hit the subscribe button, please, because it's making me really happy. And like the video. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm the only person who's liking my videos. And maybe sometimes my five friends when they feel like it. But yeah, that was JoJo's part 2. I hope you love it. I love you guys. Thank you so very much for being here. And I love you. I love you guys so very much. Love you. Bye. Bye bye. Bye.